Jason, thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's so great to actually meet you in person after all these Zoom calls.
I know.
So again, my name is Amanda Terry. I'm managing partner and co-founder of ACTAI Ventures. We're an early stage venture fund focused on companies that use digitization to bring about efficiency and scale. And we also like to solve large world problems, so purpose-driven technology aligned with the UN SDGs. And I'm just thrilled to have Jason Wang today here, who is the CEO and co-founder of Truevault, one of our newest portfolio companies. And yeah, the goal is really to share and highlight, true innovation. So yeah, excited to have the opportunity to have a chat with you.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so why don't you give a little bit of background on yourself in your own words?
Sure. I am an engineer by trade. I have a computer science degree. Somehow got into the startup space a couple of companies ago. Very fortunate. Was employee number one at a LA-based startup. And I guess a startup bug bit me. I was there for 4.5 years, and one day had an idea, went to one of the co-founders and say, hey Joel, I have this idea, what do you think? He thought about it for a second and he said, Jason, that's not the worst idea you've had.
Not the worst idea.
Not the worst idea, you've had worst. And I'm very grateful, immediately said, I will be your first investor. Here's a check. And
when was this?
This was 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he has been a big supporter of Truevault. Has always been there, the ups and downs, give me a lot of advice. So he was our first investor, being employee number one in the last startup, got a front row seat to see how the two co-founders how they conducted board meetings, how they interacted with investors, kind of in good times and in bad times. Got a front row seat, kind of how different VCs operate. So that gave me a lot of confidence that, when it was time to start Truevault, felt like, okay, let me give this a shot. Haven't done it before, but I can always go back to Joel and Adam for advice.
What's Truevault, like how would you describe Truevault?
Yeah, so Truevault is a SaaS platform that helps direct-to-consumer brands like Philz Coffee comply with data privacy laws fully on their own. We know laws like GDPR went into effect in Europe and the US, CCPA. So a lot of brands are very privacy conscious. They want to let their customers know that they value privacy, they will honor privacy requests, and they have a good privacy program. But not all of them have the same firepower as Nike, Walmart, so they're kind of caught in between that. We want to do the right things, but it takes a lot of effort and resources to do that, and that's where we come in. We give them the tools, the resources, so they can stand up their own privacy program.
What inspired, so you said 10 years ago you started the company, like outside of the mentorship from your first investors, like what inspired you to start Truevault?
Yeah, at the last startup, we collected a lot of personal information, and the team spent a lot of time making sure the data was secured. And when the company was going through, I think, Series C or D funding, one of the investors was asking me, hey, how do you guys secure this information? And I was going through all the different practices we put into place. And then it just occurred to me that, at that time you have Stripe that kind of solved the PCI problem. Right? Developers don't have to think about PCI compliance and credit card security. You just put credit card numbers in Stripe and that compliance problem is solved. How come there isn't a Stripe but for other types of data? And that was the genesis for Truevault. 1.0 was a secure database, so our customers could use us to store social security numbers, bank information, etc. Yeah.
Okay. When did you know, obviously you're operating the company for a while, like when did you know you had good product market fit?
Yeah, it was when customers started to ask for an order form, an agreement to sign before the first Zoom call even ended. So
they've been trialing the product, or how did they know?
It was just on the very first call, a discovery call. Yeah, they always
kick-ass salespeople.
We have kick-ass salespeople. That's right. We just try to relate to their pain point. Everybody has gone through some kind of compliance journey, and it was always very painful. We say, hey, this is probably what you experience. This is how we are different. This is what your life will be like with Truevault, and we call those one-call closes. And when that started ticking up more and more, is when our team knew that, okay, we're onto something, right? They're literally saying, when can we start using your product?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you have a very high retention rate too,
We
customers,
do.
which from my hat, I was like, wow, that's great. I mean, as a SaaS platform.
So Truevault has great retention rate. To date, we have only 1.35% churn by revenue. So
That's incredible.
yeah, we acquire customers very efficiently. We keep them for a long time, and their NRR goes up over time. Quite dramatically.
I mean, those are all the
All
key
the metrics.
You've got all the metrics that we are looking for when we're investing.
Yeah.
Right? That's great. And so are you going to stay focused kind of more on long tail, like SMB? Are you moving up in the enterprise, or is the main, like, how are you looking at the target market right now?
Yeah, I think for the near future, the SMB, the mid-market is where we will focus. We really see a void. A lot of our competitors, they focus on the enterprises. They go after companies that have their inside privacy counsel. They have their own developers to build the necessary tools. So their product tend to be more capable of being molded to what the enterprises need, right? Like when you buy Salesforce, you bring somebody in to customize Salesforce for you into your own sales kind of workflow. But our customers, they want to buy a best practice from us, right? They want to buy something that can get them up to speed and actually make privacy one of the brand differentiations. And at the moment, they don't have the necessary resources to do that. And that's why they bring us in.
Okay. What are you most excited about the next couple quarters?
People. So, we're at a stage where we have a lot of amazing folks that got us here. And now is how do we double the team size without diluting our culture, without, still keep that sense of urgency, still keep that momentum going. So that is my number one priority, is through the recruiting process.
Yeah. I mean, it's so key. That's like everything starts with the people, right?
You hear people say hiring people is the most important ingredient to a successful startup. It really is.
It is, yeah.
You find the right people, they will solve problems. They will run through walls to accomplish goals.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So anything that ACTAI Ventures, LPs, our investor base can help you. We obviously have very talented group of entrepreneurs and investors who are part of the fund. So is there anything we can do to help you?
Absolutely. It's growing pains. Avoid any potholes, avoid any, it's like, hey, Jason, here's some data point. These are things that you should focus on, or these are things you should avoid. The fewer mistakes. If we can just avoid one or two mistakes or make one or two better decisions through good advice, that would be.
So it's not customers. You don't need more customer intros necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think those will come organically, but really as a founder, especially a first-time founder, is always trying to see what I can do better. And I've known Bill for 10 years now.
Yeah, how did you connect with Bill?
It was after YC Demo Day.
Okay.
I remember after the demo day, he emailed me and we met up at a coffee shop in Mountain View. And he was just telling me, I remember asking one question, like, what are some successful things? What are things that successful founders do that I should repeat? And he just started telling me, like, this is what you do, that's what you should avoid, a lot of pattern matching during that conversation. And that was very valuable. And every time I ping him since then, he has always given me very short, succinct advice.
Yes.
So I've always appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean, I've known him for about the same time. I mean, I met him in 2013, and I mean, I've been very fortunate and learned so much from him as well, and continue to learn every day from him. So yeah. But well, great. Well, appreciate your time. Excited to have you part of our portfolio, and excited to share some of what you're doing with our investor base.
Good to be here.